Jeremy, your initial thoughts on how things have unfolded?
To digest lots of information here, and I think as earlier in the program, there are some highlights, very kind of overall takes that Marie-Josée Hogue has highlighted here, that there was foreign interference in the 2019-2021 elections, but that it had no no impact on the end result of the election. I think that comes to no surprise. That is something that was, pretty widely accepted already. And the other thing, and I don't want to get too much into it because, again, Judy's touched on already, but the fact that we now know of two specific ridings where Justice Marie-Josée Hogue has determined that there was likely foreign interference, and then it played a role in who was elected. There's a couple other things that I want to touch on and highlight that you and I have been talking a little bit throughout the morning. Part of that is about the communication between CSIS and the federal government, and there's part of this this report, and it's a long and lengthy report, but there's part of this report that highlights certain areas that were studied and examined that Justice Marie-Josée Hogue feels as though she needs to gather more information before being able to come up with fulsome conclusions and recommendations. Part of that is, she says, the sharing of information within the federal government from Canada's spy agency, and who should get what information when and how much information should be shared. That is an element that she has highlighted in this report that she feels needs more investigation before she can make further recommendations. That being said, we heard it in her speech there, but there's one part I want to highlight. She says, "I have not found evidence of any actions taken in bad faith, but I have found that there were some communication problems and a certain lack of understanding of the role that everyone plays or should play in combating foreign interference." So I think it's a first indication, that is, of where she stands on the communication process. And I think it's an indication that in the next report and in the final report, Roger, we can expect to hear some pretty focused recommendations and some conclusions about the processes that are in place currently for the sharing of information. And I think that there'll be some things that'll be recommended, some pretty significant changes that will be recommended, because just in that quote there, there is a recognition that there are some concerning procedures maybe, or there's some flaws in the way that information is shared. So just an important thing to highlight, because that was such a focus in this first part of the inquiry, the communication between the spy agency and some of the senior members from the federal government. We didn't get a fulsome look into what was discovered on that topic, but we did get a bit of a window into what looks to be a commission that feels as though there is certainly some significant improvements to be made in terms of how this kind of information is shared within the federal government.
Okay, and we should know more by the end of the year. So we'll have to wait and see what happens as this unfolds. Jeremy, thank you as always, sir.